The idea for Real Manchester came in 2000, just after the birth of our daughter, Nancy, and we'd had to stay in. And we started to watch telly and we realised there was nothing on the TV about working class people, really. Even working class people didn't play themselves. And we wanted to make something that told our own stories. But I think most importantly, because Nancy was an only child, we wanted to create an army of young people, of people all around Manchester, so wherever she went, she'd always see someone. But at the end of the day, and I look back now, 20 odd years later, we didn't create an army, we created a family.
Back in the early 2000s, 2002, 3, I was in my day job and I was the community regeneration coordinator for Seedley and Langworthy in inner city Salford, the rows and rows of terrace housing. And I kept hearing about this film and I kept hearing about this Real Manchester lot and a lot of time was being spent on it. And it became clear to me what an amazing project it was, not just in terms of the film and the message that the film conveyed, but the journey that it took people on, the way it engaged young people. And I thought, you know what, these people are pretty special and this area of work is really engaging and really powerful.
I remember getting a leaflet. I'd already seen something in the community anyway about the first film that you made, Rex, and I was a bit jealous. I thought, oh, I'd love to have been in that. And then we got this leaflet through the door when I lived in Milford Street, and it just said drama workshop. So I said, right, my best friend Jackie, I said, right, you look after me mum. And I just remember like walking into that room and just seeing like you bound through the door going, hi, welcome. And it just instantly made me think, I loved it. I just loved it. It was such a relaxed atmosphere and you could be yourself. And it took me just 1 hour every week out of my situation at home, which was looking after my mum a lot of the time and my 2 kids. And it just made me feel confident and happy. And then when we got the scripts and I found out I had the part, I think I called myself Roxy in the film. Don't know where that came from. I think it was only to work on the chat lines. I think that's what I called myself, Roxy. Only did that for 3 days, sorry. But yeah, when I got that part, I thought, oh, I loved it. And it was something that I'd already done because you've not had a bailiff at your door. Could you not pay the water bill? Do you know?
Oh, please, can't I just give you some money? Right, I can give you some money, but I can give you £200 at the end of the month.
No, you've had plenty of opportunities, love. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to text
Oh, you can't just take me things. Oh, please, can't I just give you something? Can't I just give you? PlayStation. Oh, you can't just take his PlayStation.
I'm not just taking a PlayStation, I'm taking a DVD as well.
It was brilliant, and then we had the premiere, the limousines. It was like the Oscars of Salford, and it was Salford Oscar. All the kids were all dressed up. Everyone from the community came to see that film. You know, I think we was on BBC One as well at one point, weren't we? We did 2 interviews, and it just started something for everybody, and we just could not wait for the next film to be made.
Always crashing around in the dark.
What are you two up to? Please, Maggie, we don't have time for this. We've got patients to assess.
Ah, but I've already seen him. I know who needs what and what you can do for them.
Well, Maggie, as I'm the consultant and you are the patient, I think it's best to leave that to me, don't you?
Thanks, Maggie.
Well, you know where I am if you need any help with them nutters.
Thank you. Right, I've got to tee off at 2, Kim, so if we just crack on and get the ward round finished.
This is Reese, admitted today, referral from his GP.
Reese Simon, right. Let's take a look.
So with Madhouse, obviously it was about mental health, and one of the topics was bulimia. At the time of filming, I was bulimic. I'd had bulimia for about 5 years then, and I played a nurse called Kim, and she was part of the eating disorders, and one of our characters, she had an eating disorder, bulimia, and the writer, I spoke with him and I kind of wrote my bit, because I think when you write what you've been through, it's more natural and it's organic, And it's also quite heartfelt, and I'd love to show that film again somewhere. But for me, it was very personable to me because I was able to tell my story through my character. And yeah, and it's made me better.
I worked really hard for this. I really did, things like being back at school. But all I'd like to say is thank you to Claire and Jackie and everyone at Real Manchester and all the drama workers. And it was such a privilege to do this A-level with these kids here because they taught me so much. They really did.
It was great value for money, and it was really engaging to the community. And not only was it engaging to the number of people who were involved, it gave young people who perhaps never had a success before, had something they were proud of, been celebrated. It really elevated them and gave them something to be proud of. And the parents engaged with the kids and they engaged with the community. And it was part of everything we were trying to do there. And you know, the film was one thing as an outcome, but seeing those young people, I'm all over the arts in Manchester, and 20 years later, there's still young people coming up to me who started on these projects as acting or behind the camera, saying, you might not remember me, but I started on a Real Manchester project, and you know, I don't know what we paid for them back then, but there's the outcomes 20 years later still.
2006, I think it was around about April. I even remember the time. And I remember because I just joined a community group and I'd been kicked out of school and I was just having a pretty shit time. And then one of my mates was like, we did this film and they're doing another film and the meeting tonight, do you want to go? And I was like, not too sure it's for me. and I was like, okay, we'll go. And it was at the Beacon Centre. And I came along with Tommy's group. And that was the first night of a night, what would become a night in Salford. And we did drama games, it was all a bit mad. And I was like, I fucking love this. Even though I was like, nah, I can't do this. But actually, yeah, I do. That was the night. And I was like, this is great. And I kept coming back.
So were you?
Me, my old man.
What about him?
Drunk, defunct.
OK, lads, make way for the old folks. We've got a wager on this game.
We were here first.
Come on, chaps.
Chaps, what are you on about?
Be careful, lads, if you don't mind. You're going to hurt somebody.
We do mind.
Yeah, get out of the way, Grandad.
You're the ones mouthing it off. Do one.
Lads, we don't want any trouble. We're asking nicely.
Yeah, and you've been told nicely. Get off the pitch.
OK, we need to inform the steward.
Go on, grass us up and see what happens.
It's not about grassing. It's about the grass. You're going to ruin it. Come on, mate.
Mate, what are you on about? Do you know who you're talking to?
I think the major thing is I think I found probably the start of like myself being all right. So I don't even think about like it being about the acting or the film. And I think for that project I was like, because I was bad at school and everything was really hard and difficult. But that was like, oh, this really works for me. And it was like regular. It was like guaranteed that I could go and I didn't have to not do any, like there wasn't rules like all of that stuff. It was like I could just go and be me and explore this and play with this. So I think when I think back to that, I think that's the first time where I'm really like, I found something that I absolutely love. And I don't think I realised it at that time. I've had to do it and be able to look back at it and be like, that's, if you trace stuff back, that's the moment in my life where I realised what I was good at and what I could do forever.
Right, it's our belief that Salford has a wealth of undiscovered talent, and this young man was a prime example. He went from strength to strength during this project, and he rose to the challenge of this demanding role. He's a natural, and he's believable in the film, and his performance will outshine many professionals. And this award goes to the one and only John O'Neill.
Come on! Okay, thanks to everyone here. Right, what we've done. But a big thank you to Emma and little Stacey for all their encouragement and support while this film is. And Come on, again.
And then I was having a really, really hard time in year 11 at school in 2007, and nothing was working out for me at all. And I think that they just couldn't facilitate me. When I look back now, I think school just couldn't deal with whatever was going on with me, and I hated it. So what happened is I remember that you and Terry allowed me one day a week as part of one of my GCSEs. I can't remember what it was called. It was something I think they made up for people like me. But like, and I'd come over to your office one day a week, do you remember? And I'd just work with you and like learn about everything that you were doing, go to meetings with you, like look at what you were doing on projects, meet all the other people. And that was like, actually became like a solid fixture of my GCSE year, which is also mad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that was an actual qualification the school were giving me. I think they were like, that he likes them, they like him, that's gonna work. And I did that. We did that for that whole of my final year at school. Like at the art gallery, was like in the library, like there was loads of stuff, and I was just seeing all of that world and like meeting all these people. But so yeah, it wasn't like straight into another film. It was actually that. Like I got to spend time with you and just learn about what filming is and what community work is and youth work was and creative, just how to be a creative, what it meant. And I think it was just an insight into the fact that it is an actual art and it is a job. And it was like I was doing that every week, and I'd like come over to Hume, and it was just great. So that was the next thing really, that whole year.
Check this out. This guy here, Henry Box Brown, he says that he posted himself from Virginia to Philadelphia in a box.
No way.
Yeah, 27 hours it took for him to reach there.
In a box?
Man, it's not that bad. I've been on the night bus from Piccadilly when it's packed up, man. It's worse.
You know, I've worked in some of the most expensive private schools in this country and in Europe. And talent is evenly distributed across the community, but opportunity isn't. So you can go into some of the most deprived communities in this country and find amazingly talented young people at all sorts of things. And projects like this find them and nurture them, encourage them. And some of them go on to careers in the arts, but some of them just take that confidence, that boost, and go on to all sorts of amazing life paths.
Yeah, I would have been 15. I think I was around 15 because I was still at school. And there was a community project at the NDC Centre, a huge push on getting children in and doing things off the street. And I think there was quite a massive problem with racism as well in the area and riots and stuff. There were schools that were mostly white people and schools that were mostly Asian people. There's a border of Glodick and Fittonhill, and there's a park right between it called Alexandra Park. And that park was very much known for a stigma of people getting jumped and people not wanting to go there. It wasn't safe, because if you overstepped and went into Glodick, you wasn't safe. If they overstepped and came into Fittonhill, then people weren't safe, and there was just a massive divide between those two cultures within the area.
Come on, get your money out. We need a drink before we go in. Sick mate, where are we going? Oh, stop murdering you. We nearly didn't get in last time because of you. So you're lucky you're coming at all. Sorry. No. Where'd you get your jeans from? They're well nice. Nicked some dinner. No way.
Yeah. But by the end of the film, as well as in real life, the bonds that grew throughout the film that brought everybody together was actually a true reflection of exactly what had actually happened within that group and what had changed within, I think, the whole environment. And now when you go to that carnival, it is very mixed, and I feel like it has been ever since. I think that made a massive difference to the community and has done ever since. Stuck with me forever because my children are in acting now, and I'm lucky enough to be in a situation where I can afford to send them and give them that. And every time I watch them, I remember it feels like I'm watching me doing that back then, and they've got that opportunity. And if I'd have never had that, I might not have had the confidence to go for the jobs I did, get the jobs that I got, and have the money that I've got now to give them the life that they've got.
all off the back of something changing for me in that time.
So how's your granddad been this week?
It's hard work, it tires me out.
Why, what's happened?
Well, on top of everything else, he wheezes in the bath.
Doesn't everyone wee in the bath?
Well, not when someone's in it.
Ew.
It's expensive. It's privilege, it's a luxury, isn't it, to be able to go and do something you love outside of what's normal and academic. And most people can't afford to go and do acting or singing or dancing, so those doors just don't open. It doesn't matter that they've got that skill, they can't do anything with it. And having the option to do that for free, for people like me at that time whose parents couldn't afford to send you to do it and pay for it, was massive. And I still remember the look on my dad's face now. I get emotional thinking about it. To give parents as well as children an opportunity to be proud of something that they couldn't provide otherwise.
It was, I've come in and I've thought, oh, this isn't going to be anything. Do you know what I mean? It was, and I think that you probably read that in my cockiness and the way that I was answering some of the questions and whatnot. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you ain't got a clue. Turns out he's got more of a clue than I had. Do you know what I mean? It's a more of an understanding. I was at a youth club previously, and we were informed about a project that was going on. I had absolutely no idea of what I was going to walk into. All I'd told was that I hadn't even had any information on who you guys were at that point. It was just, come along, show your face, you've got loads of energy, and that'll be it. When I arrived, I think I arrived late as well, didn't I? I arrived late, and cocky me walked in, strolled in like I owned the place. I can't remember entirely how the workshop went about, but I remember being given we were given the term parent, weren't we? And that was it. And then from there, history was made.
You having a laugh?
What?
What's wrong with you, Mum? What do you mean, what's wrong with me? What kind of example are you showing him? You think you're a big man? Making easy money?
You got no idea, Mum, that was uncalled for. When I go out on road, yeah, it's pressure doing what I do.
Pressure? You don't know what pressure is. Try and bringing up 3 kids, that's pressure.
Do you know what, yeah, Mum?
No, but I know I don't want to visit my sons in jail. You're so paranoid you can't even walk out the door without looking over your shoulder. What kind of a life is that?
Around that time in Manchester, it was rife. There was a lot of, I think we were past, it was like the back end of the postcode wars. There was a lot of trouble. I'm not going to name any names, but there were a lot of young people that lost their lives around that time. Me, myself, I got myself into quite a spot of bother through mistaken identity. One of my best friends had got shot, just for no reason whatsoever. And I think it was right about then that you kind of realised that it's time to grow up and make a change for yourself, but without having an understanding of how you could do that. So, and I will digress here, jumping forward years, working with the likes of yourselves and being an integral part of Real Manchester, it has allowed me to develop my own feeling towards community, an understanding of community, an understanding of, as I said, we were given the term parent, I'm now a father, to understand what it's like to be a dad, to understand the values, the core values that I want to instill in my child, the core values that I need to still instill with me.
My aspirations, yeah? Please listen. Say you step up, rep up. Where you at, who you being, where you going, who you seeing, what's your prospects, man, I mean your aims in life. When you chillax, do you know where you're gonna be in 4 and let's say 5 years? Raising the palm to wipe the same tears they were shedding time.
I remember at the time I was applying for quite a few jobs and I fell foul of what I assumed to be the issues with my area and ethnicity. So I'd applied for hundreds of jobs and at the point wasn't hearing for anything. I was given an opportunity by yourselves to come and do some sound and boom work, and I remember at first thinking this is great, and then I had self-doubts and I remember thinking, is this for me? I don't know of anybody else of my colour, my creed, my ethnicity doing anything with it. I thought it was too big for me. But then I got into it and I loved it. And I was brought aboard on a voluntary basis to start with, did a few projects, and lo and behold, after that, I mean, you appreciated my value and you gave me the opportunity to then come on board and be paid. And from there, it's just grown since. And I can't tell you how many projects we've done. It's been a fair few, and it's covered a wide range of topics across the breadth and width of the Northwest, but it's been amazing. I've met a lot of people that I wouldn't have ever crossed paths with. I have learned a lot about a lot of people and a lot of areas I had no idea about. And I've also, it's taught me about the heritage, my heritage, the history of Manchester, the history of the Northwest, and also I feel that what I've learned over the time, I know I keep saying the same thing, it's quite cliche, but it's formed the person that I am today. It's opened up a set of opportunities and given me new horizons and new outlets and things that I've seen things that I never thought that I'd see. I've been to places that I never thought I'd be, and I've eaten things that I never thought I'd eat. So it's been amazing.
In a nutshell.
Yeah.
Just in a nutshell, sum up Real Manchester.
You've changed my life. Yeah, you changed my life. And you gave me something that I would have never been able to afford, and in turn you've given my children a life that they never would have had. And yeah, I'll remember you forever.
I worked in communities and regeneration and housing for 18 years. And I did meet some amazing people. People who were the cornerstone of their communities as residents and volunteers. People who did that as a job. And I don't want to denigrate anybody else because I met some amazing people. But there is something really special about what you guys do and how you do it. And I've worked with you on half a dozen projects, but been on the fringe of maybe 15 or 20. And to stand on those stages in front of those communities and see the effect that you've had is never anything short of phenomenal. These projects, for very low budgets, let's be honest, have amazing, life-changing outcomes.
You do so well and you do so much and you make people feel at ease as well. And it's the young people and it's the stories that you tell. I mean, obviously when I was working, it was more dramas, but now obviously there are a lot of stories out there that do need to be told. Loads of stories from loads of different people, and that's what I think Real Manchester are really good at. You're really good at reaching people.
You've taught me that everyone has a story. Doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what you do, you have a story, and it's just as important as anybody's. That's definitely that. Anyone can make a film. I think, like, when I think about the different groups we've worked with and what we do, and you go through that process and you watch them and they're like, no, they don't believe in themselves, and then you get to the moments where they're like, whoa, that's me, and it's like, you've made that. It's like, anyone can do that. That's two things. And then the third thing would just be fucking kind. Just be kind, I think. That's definitely what you've taught me. They're the main three, I think. Yeah.
There aren't many people that would do it and do it for as long and as well as how you two have done it. Who've encompassed so many people, who have given so many people so many opportunities. Yeah, the things that you do outside of here is special. And I hope that you guys understand your value. I really do.
I don't know where to start. I'm really overwhelmed tonight, and I'd like to thank everybody for coming. And there's so many people I'd like to thank. Not only me in Real Manchester, there's absolutely loads of us, but we can't get the technical people on the stage. But I'm going to bring up our drama workers. So, let's have it for the Real Manchester workers who made all this happen.
Okay, it's really going to give you, ladies and gentlemen. There's two people who never take the applause of me more than overdue. One of them is the co-founder of Real Manchester with Jackie, one of the main people who makes these things happen. He's shy of the limelight, but we need to give a huge round of applause to Terry Egan. Where's Terry?